morning. This is the Eager Beaver Show.
You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver Media Incorporated podcast. The True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Misfit Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters, CanadianTarot.com, your uniquely Canadian online eclectic tarot community, and the Peppermaster, hot pepper sauces made from farm-fresh ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind. Well, good morning and hello, kids, and welcome to Season 4 and episode number 462 of the Daily Beaver Morning Show here on the Cryo Media Network. Do, 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 do.
Crier Media.
Yeah. Today, recording day is Wednesday, September 4th, 2024. And it looks like it's going to be a beautiful day here at the Beaver Lodge. In fact, there's no rain in the forecast until, for the next couple of days. Everything says 0%.
Yes.
So it's going to be quite dry for the next little bit. I'm your host, the Eager Beaver, pronouns he, him, hey, Mr. Beaver, eh? And with me, as always, is my good friend, Mr. Grizzly. Big thank you goes to our podcast founding sponsors, the Peppermaster, the Misfit Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, and CanadianTarot.com. Going to have a short one for you today because Mr. Grizzly has a hard out. But, Mr. Grizzly, how is your mental health today?
I think it's okay. Allergy-wise, it could be better, but mental health, I think I'm okay for the most part. Had a quiet evening at home with Lola. After I took her out for a nice walk at around 8 o'clock. We were out for about an hour, and it was just a mellow evening.
Oh, good. Us too. We went out for dinner. Went out for some sushi, which was nice. A beautiful restaurant here in Kingston called Sapporo. If you ever have a chance, if you're in town, to go there. The owners, it's a mom and pop shop. The gentleman there has been a sushi chef.
Now I'm going to have trouble with that all day. You realize that?
Yes, for 46 years. So, plus they have a wonderful all-you-can-eat option. Yum, 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 yum.
I'm going to take a hard pass on that.
Yes. Well, they have other stuff too, of course.
Yeah,
it's not just sushi. They have stuff from the kitchen.
Don't go to seafood restaurants if you're allergic to seafood. Period.
Yes, absolutely.
You just shouldn't. There's too much risk.
Yes, cross-contamination for sure. All right, kids and cubs, let's get right into it. I'm going to start, Mr. Grizzly, because I know you want to go somewhere. I'm just going to give a little lead in that's going to bring you there because I know you have something. Yesterday, it seems that if you live in Ontario, your premier, who I like to refer to as Porky Pig, because he is the pig of pork.
Yes.
In the province, revealed some news yesterday. And I will read this. This is from iPolitics. Ontario Premier Doug Ford has ruled out calling an election this year, but wouldn't say whether he's considering sending voters to the polls in 2025. As we know, speculation has been running rampant for months that Ford is preparing to pull the plug on the legislature. Everybody thought that this whole 19-week pause was him laying the groundwork. And he certainly wasn't denying it. Not at all. But he will not say if he's planning to pull the plug before 2026. Spring of 2026 is when he should be going. This speculation has intensified in recent days after it was reported that the Progressive Conservatives have launched their candidate nomination process for the next vote. For his part, Ford has repeatedly refused to keeping the 2026 election date, though on Monday he said voters wouldn't head to the ballot boxes this year. Quote, "We aren't having any elections this year. We're going to continue making sure that we focus on what the people of Ontario needs, and that's good paying jobs, making sure we have good healthcare, good education, good infrastructure, and that's what we're going to continue doing." Okay, you need to start, sir, because you haven't done that yet. You're not going to continue doing this. You haven't started this yet. And I believe that this is the first direct quote where he talks about an election, because it's been speculation, but I've never heard him say or read a quote of him saying, yes, we are thinking about calling a snap election. So this seems to be the first public acknowledgement of anything about an early election, but not ruling it out, though. Whenever the next election comes, it's clear the PCs are already starting the groundwork to get candidates in place. In an email obtained by QP Briefing, Michael Diamond, president of the PC Party, recently sent an official notice informing members about the opening of the nomination process for the next Ontario general election and giving them until December to confirm if they will be seeking re-election, so that's how we know. When asked by reporters why there would be a deadline in place if he wasn't planning on an election, Ford said, "You always have to be prepared." That's a line you use when you're in a minority government
Yes.
and everybody else can take you down. If you've got a majority government, you don't always have to be prepared because you unilaterally decide when the call comes. So that's a big shovelful of bullshit. Usually parties only start to ramp up their nominations about within a year from the date of the election. Political strategists say that the election timing could be affected by outside factors such as the possibility of the PC's reputation being affected by a possible federal Conservative Party government led by Pierre Poilievre, or more information coming out about the RCMP investigation into the Greenbelt land swap scandal. Gee, I wonder if Doug Ford placed a call to some of his friends at the OPP that operate his gravy plane and asked them, "Hey, how close are you to laying charges? Do I have another year? Guys, come on, you could tell me." Mhm. And there might be another reason why Doug Ford has decided that maybe now is not the good time to come to an election, and it involves the Ontario Science Centre.
Oh, boy.
Take it away.
City inspectors scrambled to respond to Ontario Science Centre shutdown, documents show. So it says here, on the day that the Ontario Science Centre was abruptly shuttered this summer, the City of Toronto staff were rushed to the building to inspect it, but didn't mark down any immediate hazards, according to documents obtained by CTV News through the FOIA, or Freedom of Information Act. Instead, the inspector noted that the critical, in quotation mark, roof panels had already been secured, taking photos of the work that had been done and visually inspecting the rest of the building according to the records, which also detail an earlier effort by the Science Centre to fix a part of its roof. Critical areas shored as per engineer's report, and no immediate concerns observed based on random sample areas looked at, wrote Inspector Brett Martin, according to the records. That was the same day the Science Centre was dramatically shut down with just hours' notice, with provincial government officials highlighting the potential danger of collapsing roof panels identified in an engineering report. Turned out that the engineering report they relied on gave other options than closing the building, including holding off potentially unsafe areas. Critics, including the firm of the architect who designed the building, have said that the building could be saved. Responding to questions from CTV News in an unrelated news conference Wednesday, Infrastructure Minister Kinga Surma said the ministry was putting safety first. "We knew that children were going to be within the building. We shared that information with the board, and the board made a decision to close the Science Centre down. It's an unfortunate circumstance, but we're now working with the board on a new Science Centre and an interim location," she said. "We had to make sure that we prioritize the health and safety of the workers and the children and families that will be coming in and out of the building throughout the summer," Surma said. Around 50 Science Centre staff remain working in the Science Centre, packing up exhibits for storage. The building is planned to be fully evacuated by October 31st, 2024. In a statement in July, Science Center Board Chair John Carmichael and CEO Paul Kortner described the decision-making process this way. Our Board of Trustees voted to close the building based on a recommendation from the Ministry of Infrastructure and the CEO of the Science Center. The City of Toronto documents detail applications to work on 3 different areas of the Science Center: rerouting a kitchen hood fire suppression exhaust duct, replacing 4 doors, and fixing roof panels on the roof for the center's rainforest room that had become distressed because of moisture ingress. The permit for the kitchen hood was granted in 2023, the records show, but the permit for the doors and roof panels was still in progress by June 2024. On June 3rd, a city examiner wrote to Infrastructure Ontario and a roofing contractor saying, in quotation, examination of your building permit application has revealed that certain requirements of the Ontario Building Code and or other applicable bylaws have not been satisfied. Pointing to sections of the Conservation Authorities Act, the Ontario Heritage Act, and the Building Transit Faster Act. On June 7th, a city building engineer wrote to the same group asking to provide it with a set of stamped drawings. It's not clear whether the agencies responded, and on the day the Science Center was shut down, emails from city officials show there was no permit granted. The emails show that the city officials heard the building was closing, as most of the public did, through the news media. They shared a CP24 news alert that described the building's closure as breaking news, and Inspector Martin arrived on site at 6 p.m. Elsa Lamb of Canadian Architect magazine said in an interview that the back and forth is typical of building permit applications and a sign that maintenance was going on in a building that was showing its age. Nobody was anticipating a closure to come this suddenly. It really came out of the blue, she said, adding that the city inspector's conclusion and observation that the critical panels were supported underscored the lack of real urgency that could have justified a sudden shutdown. The urgent things were done as they needed to be done, and there was no immediate danger. The closure was a completely political decision, she said. What does all this mean? Well, let's take a look at who owns the land around the Science Center.
Oh.
It seems to be a developer buddy of Doug's.
Ooh. Really?
Pulling it up here right now. Sorry, I should have had it prepped, but it closed.
Doug's. Gee, what were the odds of that?
So the province owns the Science Center building while the City of Toronto owns the land. The Science Center operated under a 99-year lease between the province, the City of Toronto, and the Toronto Regional Conservation Authority, which oversees conservation efforts throughout the region. Now, the land north of the Science Center, that is owned by a developer friend. Matter of fact, I've got a photograph here I'm going to pull up and show you. So we can see the Science Center in the lower section of this photograph. You'll see it in a second here, squared off in yellow. And the red section under development is owned by one of Doug Ford's buddies.
There's an overlapping section.
Look at that, eh?
It's a tiny little sliver of it, but there's an overlapping section. And I guess the whole section in red outside of the zone of the Ontario Science Center must be particularly valuable.
Well, I'll read this to you because it's hard to see on the screen there, so I'll just read it. It says, one second, I'm going to bring it over here. The grift goes like this. The Science Center opened in 1969, designed to last 250 plus years. 5 years ago, a developer family close to Doug Ford bought 60 plus acres adjacent to the Science Center. That's the section I showed you a moment ago in red. 1 month later, Ford announces that the last stop on the new Ontario Line subway will be the Science Center. Ford closes the Science Center immediately, permanently. Its property, that I showed you in yellow, will be repurposed. His engineering report says the Science Center needs maintenance, does not say it needs to be closed. Ford is away on vacation. Construction and demolition equipment are already on site across the road, set to go to work before the public can intervene. Ford, never known for moving fast, unveils and executes a plan to turn a world-class Ontario icon into condos on a Friday, then disappears before anyone can answer the phone at Queen's Park. Cha-ching. The same family that brought up property along the canceled Highway 413 route when Ford resurrected the highway to nowhere, the value of the family's land went up $8.3 billion.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the thing. He's handing this over to a buddy because the building needs to be condemned and torn down, but it was designed to last 250 plus years. And when did it open again? 1969. That's 55 years ago. So there's about, almost 200 years, 195 years left on its design.
Mm-hmm.
But again, let's look at that photograph again, because you see he's going to have the line end at the Science Center. And you see all this adjacent land at the Science Center in yellow. That's Science Center land. And then this is his buddy's land right here, where he's going to put condos. And hey, you know what we could put? Hey, we need to intensify where people live around subway lines. I'll just lease this to him for 200 years at $1 a year or something like that. And he can build on it because the city of Toronto owns the land, so Doug can't just summarily sell it. Folks, the grift is in. The grift is in.
Can you send me that thing, Mr. Grizzly?
I'll send you a link. Yeah,
that is the map and the grift thing. Wow, interesting indeed. So he calls the last stop the Ontario Science Center, even though he plans to eliminate the Science Center so that he can have a subway station for intensifying building. Because we got to build the homes. Yeah. Even though he's not building any homes.
Not building any homes.
It's, wow. I think we have a breaking news. Doug Ford loves his kneecaps.
Well,
yep. See, that's what happens when you make billion-dollar promises to people who expect you to follow up on them. And then something goes wrong and you can't deliver. Then you scramble to try to find other ways. And Dougie's finding so many other ways.
Here's a more detailed image for you. There's detail in it.
We have Service Ontario, and then we have the LCBO thing. And it just seems really interesting that every single thing that he's finding it a priority to do seems to involve transferring public good to private entities.
Well, and if you take a look at all of everything around there, you can see this clearly. What are these? What are these right here? Oh my goodness, look at these large apartment buildings where people already live.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but look, here's a field. Oh, no, that's not going to work because that's got hydro lines.
Oh, yep.
So that can't work. Oh, boy. Well, why don't we just take this gigantic chunk of forested land where the Science Center is and just hand it over to my buddy who's already started to build it. And there's the crosstown. That's going to be, I think, well, it's corporate offices, but somewhere along here is where the end of the line is.
Mm-hmm.
So you see this parking lot for the Ontario Science Center, and there's the Ontario Science Center, the Royal Astronomical Society of Canada, another parking lot. I don't know what this building is. If this is 770 Don Mills Road, I don't know if that is management offices for the Ontario Science Center.
Don't know. There seems to be a Royal Bank in there. Oh,
yeah,
no, that's ATM.
That's an ATM.
That's just an ATM. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know what this building is. I would assume, let's see if we can just drop we can drop somebody there and have a look. What do we got here? This looks like, I would assume this has got something to do with the Science Center. Oh, there, what's that say? Come on. What's the sign say? Science Center. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
The administrative buildings,
Yeah, it's administrative buildings for the Science Center. So you can see that is a gigantic chunk of land.
That's Yeah, gigantic is
An understatement.
yes.
Like, I mean, well,
Wow.
look at the size of that building. So this
Yeah.
whole, like all of this, all science center related. Then you've got this lovely forest here that's going to disappear.
I mean, the administrative building is probably bigger than the Ontario
Oh, it is.
Science Center itself.
It is. It is because they'll store things in there that
Right.
because they rotate out.
Yes. Yeah.
But it's bigger.
Yeah.
So and again, like I said, look at there's some tall apartment buildings there. Well, let's just build a whole bunch more right here. Look at all these streets already named. Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry's got a street named after him. Former Toronto Raptor, Kyle Lowry.
There's a little populism for you.
Yeah. That's okay, though. I like Kyle Lowry. He's a good guy.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah. So, yeah, this is the grift that Doug is provide his friends.
Gee, really interesting. So, like I said, I think we kind of figured out why it is he's not willing to call an election, because I have a feeling that this story is going to take off.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, sorry. In a normal world, in a nation that has normal media that isn't already bought and paid for, this is a story that would take off.
Yes, it would. Absolutely, it would.
Yes. So, but we tend to have bought and paid for media and some of the world's least curious journalists. So, I don't know. Maybe this will just be a one-day story. But Doug is clearly afraid that it won't be.
Or we can keep it rolling so that it doesn't stay a one-day story. Now, I realize we don't have the pull that a lot of other podcasters and media companies have, but, let's play telephone.
Mm-hmm.
We'll share this with as many people as we humanly can.
Absolutely. Wow. Nice. Some good sleuthing there.
No, thanks. I did a little bit of reading. I do have another thing, too, that I want to talk about that I started off the show with, how he hates workers and labor unions because he says he's for the labor unions. Except here's the thing. Doug Ford's plan to help gig workers make it easy to misclassify workers and pay them less than minimum wage. I can't even make this up.
Oh, my God.
This is from 2022 now, but I'm bringing it up because it needs to be discussed. Labor experts say Ford's law will create second-class Ontario workers. Experts say Doug Ford's much-hyped Working for Workers Act does not actually ensure gig workers get paid the minimum wage, and that it provides them with less protections than they already ought to receive under the Employment Standards Act. Now, the Ontario government announced legislation to rebalance the scales and improve working conditions for gig economy workers at Instacart, Uber, and others. In reality, the legislation does little to help these workers who've been misclassified as independent contractors. While promoted as a minimum wage for Gig Workers United President Jennifer Scott points out the actual legislation doesn't guarantee the minimum wage per hour worked. It only covers time spent fulfilling orders. Engaged time is the piece we can't control, Scott told Press Progress. I don't control how many orders I'm sent. The app controls that, Scott said, adding, it's a daily reality that many gig workers will only get 1 or 2 orders per hour. By analogy, Scott said, this would be like only paying a grocery store worker for the time spent ringing each customer through, rather than per hour spent in uniform and at work. Apply engaged time to a grocery store, their shift might be 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. This would mean they only get paid when there was a customer they were ringing through. Nobody would say that's an appropriate way to pay those grocery store workers. What this is, folks, if you don't know, it's piecework. And piecework is, I cannot stand it. I hate it. I hate it with a passion. Now, I know friends who worked in an industry I worked in years ago were earning $100,000 a year doing piecework. But they would also sit in their vehicle for up to 14, sometimes 16 hours waiting for calls to come in. While they're sitting there, they're not getting paid. They only get paid for the piecework they do, which means if you install a component, you get paid $30. If you activate a line, you get paid $10. Here's the other thing. Inspectors would go around and look at your work, and if you didn't put the proper tagging on the line that you activated, they would claw back what they paid you. I've seen this happen to people. So you got paid, and then they go, oh, you made a mistake. We're taking all that money back.
Mm-hmm.
This happened. This wasn't under the Ford government, by the way. This was taking place under previous governments. This goes back to Dalton McGuinty when he first got in, when that took place on an industry I used to work in. I'm not going to say because I can't have them rain hell down upon me, but I do know of some class action lawsuits that changed things. I don't know what became of the suits, but anyway. This proposed Digital Platform Workers' Rights Act 2022 only requires the payment of minimum wage for each work assignment performed by a worker, and not for all of the time spent by workers on the app waiting for work assignments. This isn't a $15 minimum wage, as it has been presented in some media, but rather it is probably more likely rolling $9 to $12 minimum wage, depending upon the work opportunities available at the time. Mandrick also noted that the bill does not guarantee other key protections that employees enjoy under the ESA, the Employment Standards Act, like overtime pay, vacation pay, and severance and termination pay. A better approach, according to Mandrick, would have been to shore up the rights of gig workers and others under the ESA through measures to prevent employee misclassification. Creating a standalone bill creates confusion and feeds into the false narrative that platform-based gig workers are different from other workers in a legally significant way. In reality, they face the same problems regarding misclassification and wage theft as workers in industry like construction, cleaning, and traditional delivery and courier services. They just use an app to perform the work. These workers deserve full and equal protections under the ESA. Sorry, the exasperation level. How Doug Ford likes to say he cares about workers. He doesn't give a damn about you.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't care. He
Yeah.
never has.
Yeah.
You know, he did cost averaging for overtime,
Mm-hmm.
which basically the way it works is under the Ontario Labor Standards Act, Employment Standards Act, if you work 44 hours a week, you get paid your regular per hour wage if you're a per hour wage employee. If you work more than 44 hours, you get paid overtime for that week. Some employees would pay you overtime per day if you work a 12-hour shift when you're scheduled for 8. Other employers will knock off. You can leave early on Friday, so you get your 44, and we're not paying you overtime, and you get free time off, blah, 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 blah. What he was doing was, so say you were normal scheduled working hours for the month, and we'll use 40 as a metric. So that's 160 hours in a 4-week work period, right? Let's say the first 2 weeks you work 20 hours per week, and the last 2 weeks you work 60 hours per week. That would entitle you to 40 hours of overtime under the former standards. Under the new standards, they average that out over the month, which means you've only done 160 hours.
Right.
You get no overtime.
Mm-hmm.
He says that makes us competitive. I say it destroys people's lives and gives companies the ability to abuse employees. And we can't have this anymore.
Mm-hmm. I've got Angela, Jordan's mom, here in the chat saying they just removed inquest recommendations for those who die on the job to rule out foul play or to make safety standards to protect people. We are reverting in history to make Doug money.
Yes. Yeah.
Kit PNC Bio. Thank God someone's making sure workers are getting fucked. I was worried conservatives were putting forward legislation to help workers. Phew. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez. Unbelievable. Oh my God. This guy.
Yeah.
And I see comments in the chat, right? Bonnie Crombie will be just as bad. Bonnie Crombie is a wolf in sheep's clothing. You know what? At this point, I'm willing to give her a shot to see whether or not she is or not.
I think she is.
Rather than ruling her out just because she might be, or she will be, or that she has a track record of showing like this. But I mean, this guy. It's the option.
I think Merritt Stiles has a better chance because the Liberal Party of Ontario is just in such disarray.
Oh yeah,
it's absurd.
I have no idea where they are. They're literally invisible.
Yeah, they are. They are. They have been for quite some time now.
I don't know what strategy they're using this, but I mean, it just seems to me that you should be in everyone's face and running to a camera and a mic at every opportunity. I mean, the Lord knows He's given everybody opportunities. But yeah, I'm not. I'm disheartened.
Yeah, to say the least.
Jeez. How much can this asshole get away with?
Well, as much as we let him, and we let him when we don't vote, which is, again, and I cannot stress this enough, I believe we need to table legislation and pass it so that when an election, the writ is dropped, an election is called, polls are not released to the public. Polls are only released to the parties, and they cannot release that information to the public because I guarantee you it swayed it in the last election in Ontario because newspapers and television media companies were reporting, well, Doug Ford's the man. He's going to win. He's got his landslide victory. We can already see it.
Yeah.
A lot of people just get so dissuaded by that. You know, you've worked a 12-hour shift on construction, as an example, or maybe you're an EMS worker. Or maybe you take care of children. You work in a daycare. You're physically and emotionally exhausted, and you read in the paper that, well, Doug Ford's going to win anyway. So it's like, well, my vote doesn't count. I can't even be bothered.
Yep.
The extra effort it's going to take for me to go to stand in line and cast my ballot. Now, that being said, I've never stood in line for more than 10 minutes in my entire life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's not like at the U.S. where you might have to stand around for 7, 8, 9, 10 hours.
Mm-hmm.
But still, at the end of a long workday, when you are tired, you just want to go home, take a shower, have a bite to eat, and relax because you're exhausted. People are dissuaded, and this is how they control voting. So one of the things we need to do is, actually, I think we need to do 3 things. This is a 3-pronged approach, okay? 1, once the writ is dropped, no more polls released to the public. 2, make it a holiday. 3, mandatory voting.
Mm.
And mandatory voting with an incentive. You know,
Yes.
you get a tax break on something or, you know.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I'm seeing the comments again. Seriously, Bonnie Crombie? Oh my God, might as well keep Ford. No, not might as well keep Ford.
No, he's
not
terrible.
Might as well keep Ford. No.
I know what you're saying. I do empathize. I do understand what you're saying, but no, we can't keep this
No,
man in power.
you don't might as well keep Ford. You switch like this and hope that the other person will be better. I guess, or will have learned, or hope that they don't want to commit political suicide. You hope this. And yes, she might be exactly the same person. She might be Doug Ford in a dress.
Well, Dalton McGuinty was not a liberal.
No, not
at
at all. Not
He
at
wasn't.
all. No, like this. And, you know, or of course, Merritt Stiles from Rex Reiner. I mean, we do have other options, you know, but you don't rule someone out without having given them a chance.
Exactly.
Right? Just because you think she will be the same as the person that's there. That's just tying your hands behind your back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, what you were talking about the media, however, that's what I keep on calling the politics of inevitability. Yes. Because, like I said, our media seems to be bought and paid for. So they're there to push the narrative that whatever candidate that most aligns with them, right? The candidate that most aligns with them is the one that's going to win. Yes. And then they just pump the news story and they pump the news story. They're doing the same thing with Pierre right now.
Yes.
At the federal level. It's inevitable. Give up. Pack it up. He's going to win. He's got such a far lead.
Stop that.
Look, another poll. Look, the poll. Like this, and they look at polls. They say, the poll says he's leading by 14. But, you know, the polls also indicate that his personal popularity isn't all that great.
Mm-hmm.
So, the party is leading because people want change or they're bored with the guy that's there now, but they're not particularly enamored with the guy that's leading the other party because even despite those numbers, the guy leading the party is a drag.
Yes.
That's also part of the story. So it's like, Pierre is not inevitable. People would like him to be gone too. The question is do they want Justin gone more than they want a Pierre? Because they know Pierre is not going to be great.
No.
It's the same thing with Bonnie Crombie. The question is, do you want to take a chance and hope that she'll be better? I guess, or have you already decided? I guess, and now you've reduced your choices, or you've increased the likelihood that the guy that you really want gone does stay.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying vote for Bronny Crombie.
No. We're not saying that at all.
I'm just saying, let her present her campaign.
Let's look, if she's gonna
Don't put your fingers in your ears before she speaks.
right. That's a
Because
stupid thing.
she might be different. She might be different provincially than she was municipally. Might.
We don't
You
know.
have to see what it is that she's going to propose. You have to see what type of team that she assembles. And see comments like, well, she invited Christy Clark to come and speak. Oh yeah, I know. We invited Christy Clark to speak. And we don't much like Christy Clark anymore. Yes. But she won several times in British Columbia. British Columbians seem to be happy with her for a good amount of time. If I'm not mistaken, the carbon tax in BC did come in under her.
I believe it did.
Christy Clark. So, I mean, she's not. We all knew that the BC Liberals were really conservatives.
Oh, yes.
Right? So it was just a tagline. But, she did some good stuff. She did some stuff that wasn't great. Clearly, she's a conservative. I mean, we've seen it in her comments since she's left the premiership, and we know it there. But, it's like, as bad as Christy Clark was, she wasn't a Doug Ford.
No.
She wasn't a Grant Devine. She wasn't a Scott Moe.
Thank God there was only one of him.
Yeah, really. Jeez. So, again, you have to compare your alternatives to each other, not the almighty.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's Gordon Campbell that put it in. You're right. Sorry. You're right. Crit RMR. You're correct.
Oh, right.
Yes,
Yeah.
Gordon Campbell. Right. Was he before her?
I can't remember.
I'm terrible remembering my BC premiers at the moment.
Well, I don't live there, and it is far away.
Yes, but still,
and they tend not to be as.
I'm a political junkie. I should remember this.
But they tend not to be as terrible as those their counterparts in Alberta.
Yes, Gordon Campbell came in before Christy Clark, so he put it in. She never campaigned on removing it.
Okay.
Right? She didn't do the whole, oh my God, this is killing you and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I mean, Gordon Campbell was there from 2001 to 2011. Christy Clark 2011 to 2017. I mean, and she took over from him. So, right, because the Liberals were in power from 2001 to 2017, 16 years.
Right.
Speaking of 16 years, Scott Moe did something yesterday and kind of got himself owned a little bit. Yeah. Because as you know, they're going into an election in Saskatchewan. And then Scott Moe decided to post this yesterday with the theme of going back to school. If you will read that, Mr. Grizzly.
Well, let's see. What does Mr. Moe have to say? I see the NDP is now promising to improve education and build new schools faster. Just a reminder that the last time the NDP was in government, they closed 176 schools. That's an average of one school a month closed for 16 years. The best indicator of future behavior is past behavior.
All right. That line, the best indicator of future behavior is past behavior. Now, that's a line you have to be very careful when you use it, because that's a two-way street.
Yeah.
And, a lady named Mira Conway, who is a member of the Legislative Assembly of Saskatchewan for the NDP, responded with this, Mr. Grizzly.
Yeah. Speaking of 16 years, that's almost the length of time you've been in power. And after 17 years of Saskatchewan Party rule, we're last in education and healthcare. Stop fighting so hard to keep us there.
Oh!
And remember where universal healthcare came from? Tommy Douglas in the province of Saskatchewan.
Mm-hmm.
And Saskatchewan's last in healthcare.
and education.
Mr. Douglas is not upset and not pleased. I guarantee you, he is spinning in his grave.
Mm-hmm. Gee. When the NDP was in government for 16 years, they did that. Your Sask party has been in power for 16 years, and where are we now?
Yeah, 17 years
Let's
the
look
party's
at
been in power.
let's look at your past behavior and see how it
Well,
predicts future behavior. Scott Moe.
the man who actually killed a woman while he was drunk.
Went bankrupt.
Yeah. Well, the bankruptcy thing, I'm not going to pick on him for. That happens to a lot of us. It happened to me.
I understand that, but
it's the guy
he's leading
who,
a province.
Well, yeah. Well, the difference being,
And
though,
he
when you
appears to
lead a
be
province,
bankrupting.
but when you lead a province, you have, you do have advisors. And of course, some of those advisors, like in the province of Ontario, Doug Ford claims his is the only government in history that didn't raise taxes. Okay, that may be true. I'll have to do some digging to verify that. But he has added over $100 billion in debt in 6 years. $100 billion. Instead of funding things with tax revenues. Personal income taxes would need to be 30% higher to cover the $16 billion gap each year. And what else has Doug done? Well, he just spent $225 million to end a contract with the beer store so that he can sell beer and wine and ready-to-drink cocktails in corner stores and gas stations. Okay. But we're going to lose a ton of revenue from that because revenues that the LCBO generate go into tax coffers that help fund things like healthcare. So we're about to lose a bunch of money that way. Oh, what else did he do that cost us $2 billion in tax revenue? He eliminated license plate stickers. Okay, I don't need a sticker, but why don't I just renew every year for the same amount of money online? Nope, you don't have to do that anymore. That's a $2 billion hit. Meanwhile, he keeps running up the debt. Conservatives are not good with the public money. They never have been. Never. It's been proven time and time again. What do? Their fiscal conservatism is cut social programs for people who desperately need it and increase public welfare for those who are already wealthy. That's all they've ever done. Oh, and let's not forget the wonderful things that generate revenue for the country that they sell off to left, right, and center. The list of things under the Harper government, I think there's about a dozen things he sold off to different nations. We made a profit. Look at, we balanced the budget. No, you didn't. You eliminated tax revenue by selling things off to private countries and corporations so you could show a positive book. We're in the black. Yeah, but what happens when we don't have that tax revenue next year? Don't worry about it. Yeah, well, they just cut a program. Mm-hmm. They're not good with money. They never have been.
Yeah, indeed. All right. Moving to other topics, kits and cubs. Today is the day that the Bank of Canada will be announcing whether or not it will be cutting interest rates yet again. It seems so. All signs seem to be pointing to yes. The big debate seems to be as whether or not it will be 25 basis points or 50 basis points. People were saying that it could possibly be 50 basis points. I think the chances of this have reduced given that Canada's GDP numbers for the second quarter of this year came in way higher than expected when we were reporting on this last week. When we were talking about inflation numbers, we were saying that the Bank of Canada had estimated that GDP had grown by 1.5% this quarter. And previously we had said 3 quarters ago it was 0.2%, and then it was 0.6%, and then 1.5% was what was estimated. And we were showing you also previously some OECD and International Monetary Fund projections stating that Canada would probably have the strongest economy in the G7 next year in 2025, even though it wouldn't be growing at 1.8% or something like that. The numbers for the second quarter came in at 2.1% growth instead of 1.5%. which is way more than expected. That's not a statistically insignificant change from 1.5 to 2.1% when it comes to GDP growth. So that might mean that the economy is heating up a little, and the Bank of Canada wants to kind of keep it cool. So cutting by 0.5 may be less likely today than it was a few weeks ago. Now, the US Fed will also be announcing later this month whether or not they'll be cutting, and there seems to be some pressure for them to start with a cut of 0.5. But as we've been mentioning, and has been confirmed in other media that I've been reading since, that any cut in the United States rate will definitely increase the odds that there will be more cuts coming in the Canadian rate. Of course, people have already been predicting more cuts in the Canadian rate all the way to the end of 2025. That could bring the Bank of Canada's base rate to 2.75%, and it's currently at 4.5. So there might be a decent amount of additional relief coming for people who have higher costs of living, either because they had a variable mortgage or if they have to renew. Probably it would be recommended by your financial experts to renew for a shorter term, so or not lock in, so that you can take advantage of the rates when they do go down by the end of, especially by the end of next year, because from 5% to 2.75% in the base rate is a significant amount of money monthly going towards interest. So if you're one of these people that are caught in the in between times who needs to renew, something to consider. And please don't rely on us for financial advice, because even less than reporters, we are financial experts. But it seems that the strategy, at least this is what our mortgage broker recommended to us before the rates went up. He said, yes, allow the rates go up. You are going to feel a pinch like this, but as all things, it's a pendulum. It will swing, it will come down. And when it comes back down, then choose your moment to lock in. You'll be paying more temporarily, which we have, and we've been paying a whole lot more temporarily. We've been feeling it. But when it goes back down to something like about 2.75, there's very, very, unless like it goes down to 2.75. And at that moment, as that's happening, boom, we go into recession. And they have to cut some more to stimulate the economy. That's probably about as low as it'll go.
Right.
And then if you want to lock in, maybe around there, which will be a better rate, because if you locked in around 5 or 4.5, and then usually there's a premium for locking in that goes on top of that. That's a lot of additional unnecessary money that's going out if you have the ability to ride out or negotiate a shorter than a 5-year term while the rates are at their highest. Yes, or just remaining on a variable rate until they go down at that point. So that's the advice I've been getting. So we'll find that out later today. Of course, this is going to be more news that's going to make Pierre Poilievre spit. Pierre Poilievre had absolutely nothing to say about the fact that the economy grew by 2.1% last quarter rather than 1.5.
Well, I mean, inflation goes up. Justin Trudeau is responsible for this. Inflation goes down. Bank of Canada cuts. Silence.
Yeah. People across Canada have also been sending pictures of, when you go to the gas station, they have the billboard up there that tells you what the price of gas is. And seeing how, wow, it's like, I don't remember the last time that it's been a while since the price of gas has been this low. And of course, nobody's mentioning that the price of gas might actually be lower than it was before this year's carbon regulatory pricing increase.
Correct. That is correct, sir. It is lower.
So when
Pierre's running around the tax?
Yeah, when Pierre's running around the country saying, axe the tax is one thing, but the whole thing, if you add all the words, don't limit yourself to just 3, it's just axe the tax and your lives will be fine again. It's like, now, if you've been paying attention to the show, you know that the portion of the price of stuff that the carbon tax represents is not even 1% of the price of the stuff that you buy. So, yeah. In terms of goods, right? It might be a little different for your home heating. Might be 1 or 2% or something, but if you're saving, a penny or a penny and a half on the dollar, your life is not going to dramatically improve by just cutting
No.
carbon pricing.
And this fallacy, and it's coming from both Jagmeet Singh and Pierre Poilievre, that they're going to lower grocery prices. Is just,
They're not going to do that.
If anybody is naive enough to believe that they could even possibly do that in a free market economy, again, I have some wonderful oceanfront property in northern Saskatchewan to sell you.
Yes.
You're going to love it.
As we've been saying on this show now for a while, the one lesson that we all should have learned from the post-pandemic supply chain, inflation, whole thing, is that corporations will charge the price they believe the market can bear.
That's
now,
it.
when we had shortages and storage place things and inventory stuff and higher transportation costs and all that kind of stuff, yes, prices did go up, as they should during those cases, but prices went up way more than they should have, because corporations were saying, well, gee, we have to raise the prices because of fuel and supply and whatnot. Okay. Oh, people are still buying stuff. Let's test these little motherfuckers out to see how much they're willing to pay for stuff before they start screaming.
Well,
that's where they went. That's what
exactly
they did.
where they went. That's exactly where.
And then we started screaming.
Yeah.
So then all of a sudden, because when Loblaws turned around and said, you know what? It's like, yeah, our meat and vegetables that are about to expire that we're selling at 50% off, we're only going to sell them at 33% off now. And people went, whoa. When Frills turned around and said, don't go to your farmers markets. Come here instead. And everybody went, whoa, no. We didn't say don't support your farmers markets. Because every now and then, when the people go, whoa, they go, no, we didn't mean that. And then they pull back.
Well,
every gimmick gas price cut by a conservative premier, we're going to cut the provincial tax on gas by 5 cents. Did you see that? No. Because the corporations just raised it by 5. What makes you think they're not going to do the same thing with the percentage of price that represents carbon regulatory pricing? You're already paying it. They already know you're willing to pay it. They already know that you're able to afford it, even though maybe you can't. So it's just going to be a one-for-one transfer. It's going to be a de facto subsidy of these corporations. It's a subsidy by another name. When the government says, well, I'm going to cut the gas tax by 5 cents a liter, and the gas companies do not reduce that price, it's a subsidy to the gas company that is being marketed as a deal for you. This type of cut is completely ineffective if it doesn't come with accompanying legislation that forbids the corporation from clawing it back.
Bingo.
And we know liberals didn't do it, and you can bet your ass that conservatives are not going to do that, because capitalism and profits.
Well,
so don't count on that. When somebody's telling you this, I want to finish that. When somebody's telling you that, they are telling you to your face, I think you're stupid, and I'm treating you as such. And I'm counting on you being too lazy or too stupid to go do the math yourself. Don't vote for people who tell you to your face, I think you're stupid, and treat you like that.
This is the thing. Sobeys would lower prices in individual stores to make local run stores suffer and close. It happens systemically, and farmers markets were a way to resist. The corporations will target them. Walmart has been doing this for decades. Go to any small town in Canada and the United States where they've opened a Walmart supercenter, and look at the front street where people used to shop. Most of those storefronts are empty. Or if they've reopened as a chain, a fast food chain, or a fast coffee chain. Or the thing I saw in a small town recently was several stores. I think there was 3 within a 20-meter space of one another that were selling, like, I'll say tchotchkes, antiques. They weren't pawn shops per se, but basically pawn shops. Where everything you walked in and buy, old stuff that people don't want anymore, and they sell to them, and then they turn around and resell it. It's like, I see so many of those, so many pawn shops, so many used goods stores these days, so many stores where there's the name is Dollarama, Dollar Tree, Dollar
Hmm.
whatever, Dollar It, and they say we're doing good. Well, somebody is, but it isn't you and I.
Hmm. Hmm.
And that's
Yeah.
the other thing, Mr. Jim, payday loan outlets.
Yes.
Those
Yes,
are predatory too.
definitely predatory. Well, one of the reasons why we could use a microcredit program,
Yes,
for example.
because people use payday loans because they have to.
Yep.
And the problem is the interest rate is, I think it works out to like
That's
49.9%.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
I've had to use them. Do I like admitting that? No. Do I like that I had to? No. I've had to use them. Why? Because wage stagnation over the last 50 years has caused situations where people are living hand to mouth, paycheck to paycheck. And they're like, well, just cut back on this. I'm like, I don't know what else to cut back on.
Mm.
I got to
And-
keep a roof over my head. I have an internet connection, and I have to have a fast one to run this show. But I've cut back on everything I can think of. You know, the last time I went out for coffee was?
When?
Oh, God, I can't even remember. That's how long ago it was. Do I still go to the pub for a beer? Yeah, I do. But you know what I've reverted to now? I drink the cheapest beer on the menu, and I have two. Because I don't have a choice. Well, just drink beer at home. Yes, that's right. Have no social life whatsoever. I could always give up beer, but I don't drink soda. So I suppose I could drink non-alcoholic beer, but guess what? It's the same damn price. So why don't I have two of what I enjoy?
I don't know when this date's from because there's no date here, but I'm reading something from adamsontrustee.com. It says, when it talks about payday loans, currently in Ontario, the maximum interest rate on payday loans is 391%.
Oh,
The
300.
maximum payday loan cost lender can charge you is $15 per 100 borrowed. That's already 15%. In order to be exempt from the federal government's interest rate cap of 60%, payday loans cannot exceed $1,500 and you must repay it within 62 days. As stated, the federal government intends to lower the maximum interest rates charged on payday loans to $14 per 100. Oh, a whole cent. A whole dollar.
A whole dollar.
Wow. Yeah. Interesting. Then they had the federal and provincial governments govern Ontario's interest rates. That is because the provinces have to comply with laws set by the federal government. Payday loans, however, are governed by provincial law. As a result, interest rates for payday loans can vary from 35% in Quebec,
Mm-hmm.
seem to have tackled the problem, even though 35% is ridiculously high, to
Still
548% in Newfoundland and Labrador.
It's predatory lending. And you know where those payday loan places always are located? In the neighborhoods where the average income is lower than anywhere else.
Yes. And the date was at the end. It's from April 8, 2023, from John Adamson, a CPA and CMA. So there probably have been some slight changes to the law since then. But yeah, you got Kid Swanky. Yep, borrow 300, you pay back 345. So now, since we were talking about food, Mr. Grizzly, and we've had a conservative leader, Pierre Poilievre, as we mentioned on yesterday's show, criticizing the school food program which, quote,
Hasn't fed anybody yet.
costs millions but hasn't fed a single meal during summer, of course, and suggested that its purpose is to feed more liberal bureaucracy and CBC headlines instead of hungry kids. Well, today, the Prime Minister, only a little over 2 months after unveiling the details of his government's bid to create and deliver the National Food Program, outlined in the last budget, and saying that it includes an investment of $1 billion over 5 years. It will provide meals to up to 400,000 more kids every year. He's set to provide an update on the plan during an afternoon visit to Newfoundland and Labrador this afternoon. It will be held at around 2:25 p.m. Newfoundland time. Joining him for the on-camera announcement, which, as per his office, will take place at an undisclosed location in the western region of the province. I like that he's not telling people where. I like this now because I guess so. Be prepared to hear some journalists scream
Yeah.
on behalf of the people that would like to attend these things and disrupt them.
Yes.
Joining him from the on-camera announcement will be Social Development Minister Jenna Sudds. That's kind of makes sense that she would be there.
Mhm.
And Newfoundland and Labrador Premier Andrew Furey, with two Atlantic Canadian frontbenchers, Agriculture Minister Lawrence McCauley and Rural Development Minister Goody Hutchings. Also expected to be there. From the Prime Minister of Canada's press release on this. So this is from June 20th, 2024. It's from June 20th. Okay, I thought they were releasing to something today. But it says, with an investment of $1 billion over 5 years, the National School Food Program included in Budget 2024 will provide meals up to 400,000 more kids every year, beyond those served by existing school food programs. So in addition to those who are already being served. This will mean peace of mind for parents and healthy meals for kids, helping them learn, grow, and get the best start in life. On average, the National School Food Program is expected to save participating families with 2 kids up to $800 a year in grocery bills. There you go.
Wow.
And then goes on to say the National School Food Program is part of our work to support families and make life cost less. This includes the Canada Child Benefit, which is providing families with up to $7,437 per child this benefit year. Canada-wide early learning and childcare, which has already reduced fees for regulated childcare by half on average across the country, and the Canadian Dental Care Plan, which will make trips to the dentist more affordable for up to 9 million uninsured Canadians. Confident countries invest in themselves, and these investments grow and build our communities, our families, and our economy. So pay attention there if you're interested in the National School Food Program, because, like I said, there'll be an announcement about 2:30 p.m. Newfoundland time. So that's an important bit of news today. There's other stuff, but you know what? I would like to talk Paralympics a little bit, Mr. Grizzly, if you would agree to that.
Sure. I'm cool with that.
Okay. I like that very much because there has been some success, Kits and Cups.
Excellent.
Yes, indeed. For somehow interesting, the Paralympics report has not come in today.
Oh, that's weird.
Interesting, the news thing. So I'll just look at the medals at the moment. And Canada now has 15 of them, 3
awesome.
gold, 5 silver, and 7 bronze. So some people have been raking in the hardware for Team Canada. Now, there is, according to the news, yesterday, I'm guessing, this is the 3rd, yes, Canada won its 2nd gold medal of the Paralympics, and that was a gold by wheelchair racer Cody Forney in the men's T51 200 meters. And swimmer Katie Cosgriff added a bronze in the women's 100-meter butterfly S10 category. And over here, Mr. Grizzly, I have a picture of Canada's 2nd gold medalist.
There he is.
Blow it up there. There we go. So he's a 35-year-old gentleman from Victoria, Cody Forney.
Well done.
Well done, sir. Congratulations to you. And we have a very, very, very grateful nation as a result. Forney also won a silver in the 100 meters at this year's World Championships in Japan, and will be returning for that event in Paris on Friday. So he has an opportunity for another medal. The 200 has always been the most difficult for me, so it's something my coach and I have worked on the hardest. Forney said, I executed the race perfectly. Canada had a group of other medal hopefuls on the track yesterday, but none of them panned out. Marisa Papaconstantinou finished 4th in the women's T64 200-meter final. Shariana Hassa was also 4th in the women's T47 100-meter. Zach Gingras placed 5th in the men's T38 400-meter, and Bianca Borgella went down with an apparent hamstring injury in the women's T13 100-meter, but still managed to get up and finish the race. And according to Devin Haru, he has an update on her saying, I've been told by Athletics Canada she's in the medical center here at the Stade de France and is being assessed, and Team Canada doctor updates as I get them coming your way. And then I'll be scanning his stuff here. But another update from 21 minutes ago from him after her injury last night in the Paralympic final, in her Paralympic final debut. I've been told by Athletics Canada she's undergoing further medical assessment this afternoon. It's expected she would get an update on her condition sometime today. So we are waiting for that. There are more medals. So I'm going to just go through Devin Haru's feed, given that I didn't get the update here. This might be from today, so I hope I'm not spoiling stuff, but I think I might be here. So if you are planning to watch Paralympics coverage today and don't want me to spoil stuff,
don't say that.
You might want to tune out for the next 2 minutes.
We don't ever want you to tune out.
No, but I mean, if you might want to put us on mute for a couple of minutes and like this. I'll give you a thumbs up when it's time to come back if you don't want it spoiled. Because when I watch sports like this, when I'm watching it, when I'm planning to watch a tennis match, particularly if I'm watching it later, like this, I do everything I can. I avoid Twitter. I avoid the news, whatnot, because eventually somebody blurts something out and then I find out. And then for me, it's not as interesting to watch if I know how it's going to end before it starts.
I see. Here's the thing for me: you can tell me who won the game. I still want to watch the game. Yeah, because I want to see how it played out.
For me, usually not.
That's the way I am.
Yeah,
I know the end of a movie. I know how the movie's going to end. I still want to watch it.
I mean, some of them, like Titanic. I kind of knew, but I still want to see the movie. Apollo 13. I know they make it back home.
Yeah, you want to see the journey.
Yes. So I mean, but sometimes for me, I know that there's some people that's like, I know the score, that ruined it. So just there is go. And I put we have a shot put. You know what? A shot put gold medal.
Yes, I saw.
I will just say that.
Yes.
All right.
From out of retirement, by the way.
Yes. And then let's see. So that was the first track and field gold. There we go. Then there was a medal in Paralympic cycling. You know what? I'm not going to cut it. I'm going to say it because they deserve to be mentioned. So Greg Stewart is the person that won the gold medal in shot put. And over here, there are some images of them playing our song at the Stade de France.
Our song, the national anthem?
Yes, they're playing our song. So there he is on the podium, looking at the flag going up. Mm-hmm. So congratulations.
And he came out of retirement for that too.
This is Greg Stewart, the gentleman in question. So congratulations to you, and thank you so much for everything you're doing for Canada. Then Nathan Clément this morning won his first Paralympic medal, a cycling silver. So, and there's images of him, Mr. Grizzly.
Yeah, I'm trying to get it to go here. Here we go.
So maybe I can make this bigger. So there you go. There's Nathan Clément. Congratulations to you, as he's going to have the metal silver put around his neck. Yes, yeah, you raise that. You raise those arms. Yes, sir. There you go. I love seeing people receive their medals. Just the pure joy. Like, you can't fake that. You can't fake that.
Not at all.
And who else do we have here? Greg Stewart. Yeah, that's Nathan Clément again. I'm sorry, Kits and Cubs, for this not being as smooth because the report did not come in. And then we have, that's Katie Cosgriff again. You know what? Yeah. You know what? I'm going to do this tomorrow.
Yeah.
And have it better prepared rather than having you listen to me search.
Fumble and stumble.
Fumble and stumble. I see that Elaine said that you sent me something somewhere, but I don't know where that somewhere is because when you say my inbox, I have like 5 or 6 of them.
Yeah. Which one?
We have the one on Twitter. We have the one on Facebook. We have my personal one. We have the
The
So
email.
you have to be really specific when you say you send it to my inbox, which one, because I
Which
have like
one?
5 or 6 to check. Um,
And it's
so
from Elaine. It's probably on your Facebook because Elaine
yeah,
doesn't have Twitter.
yes, right.
So it'd be a Facebook DM, I would assume.
Okay, good. I will check that out there. Yes, there we go. Sent you. No, that's
See,
from
I'm on the
18,
ball.
that's
I'm on
from
the
18 hours ago, so it can't be that one.
ball.
Oh, there we go. There we go. There we go. Thank you so much, Kit Elaine here. Oh, no, that's just
Try the show's Facebook.
yeah, that's not working either, unfortunately.
Okay.
All right.
Well,
So I will have them prepared tomorrow. I'm so sorry that I wasn't able to celebrate everyone as they should be right now.
that's
But
fine.
right now, I just have a link to a CBC page, and I have to still scan through for the articles and the titles and all that kind of stuff. But yes, we are now at 15 medals, 21 on the medal board because they always list by golds first and not by
Mhm.
number. But a couple of days ago, we were at like 46 or something. So with the gold medals coming in,
Moving up.
we are moving up. But still 15 medals, which is very, very, very good. I can't remember how many we had in. Where were the Olympics last time? Oh my God, I'm just drawing a blank.
What?
Tokyo.
2020 in Tokyo?
Yes. Well, 2021 technically.
Yeah, technically.
But yeah, Paralympic results. And God, nothing
Yeah,
is
here.
completing. Nothing is cooperating.
Yeah, don't
with
worry
me
about
here.
it. It happens. These things do take place. We got to get your new computer operational, dude, because you still using the
No,
old
no,
one.
it's not the new computer. It's just every time you go on a website, they ask you to like, do you want to accept these cookies? It's like, just take me to the damn
Just
information.
do the damn thing. Yeah.
So last time it was 21 medals, 5 gold, 8 silver, 6. So we're only 4 off the total of last time. And if we do break 19, it will be the first time in a while where our number of medals from Paralympics to Paralympics go up rather than go down. Because remember, yesterday I was reporting that don't be discouraged by the lower number of medals over time, because it's just a sign that the Paralympic movement is getting stronger and that more countries are participating. More
God
countries are
damn it.
spending athletes. But, oops.
I got scammed.
Oh, no.
I called yesterday. Well, so I had armmp.com. I've never heard of this thing before in my entire life. And I got a call from Visa Debit saying, we suspect fraudulent activity on your account. So I looked it up. There are 13 charges from a company I've never heard of in my life for a total of $750 taken from my account. I called. Visa Debit said, we're on it right away. We'll cancel your card. We'll send you a new one. So I don't have a bank card right now, which is a pain in the ass. But now I have to fight to get my money back because I really need another $750 hit. Sorry, I'm just like, what more can you throw at me, universe? What more? What more? I mean, just go ahead. Bring it on. Bring it on. Yeah, like literally multiple charges from a company I've never heard of in my life. armmp.com. And I looked it up. It's Armenian Marketplace.
Yep. That's
Not buying anything from them. So I'm out $750 and I have to fight with Visa to get it back.
Yeah. Well, let's since we're doing that, let's give the kits some information here. ARMPP, Armenian Marketplace. This is literally what the website looks like. Welcome to the platform which helps the customers to find what they really need and allows them to expand sellers' capabilities. Yeah,
And all the
hardly
transactions,
inspires any confidence here.
all the transactions are in US dollars.
Is a worldwide digital platform aimed to connect sellers and buyers with each other. So, yeah.
Yeah, but I can't. It's like I really can't.
No, I know that.
Right.
I know that. So either you made a transaction that was somehow governed by them or ruled by them, whatnot, and then they just took your number and went crazy with it, or
But I've never heard of this before, and how
no, you don't. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't look like somebody that you have to do direct business with. It seems that they do help other people do their business. So you might have done business with someone somewhat legitimate who's using them to help, and
somebody
they
through
just took the
Amazon,
number
maybe.
and went crazy.
Well, I'm just trying to look at my Amazon purchases for the last few days, and it's like, let's see, orders. And what did I order on the 2nd? Because there was stuff that the only thing, no, that was August 31st.
Or someone cloned your card and used it there. As Mr.
This is
Jim
what I'm
says.
figuring. Somebody cloned my card.
God.
And when you purchase from Amazon, it's vetted and,
Yeah.
So I don't know how my card was cloned or where my card was cloned. I'm thinking it must have been off of a database somewhere that somebody hacked, because I'm a creature of habit. My transactions are all within my neighborhood or via Amazon.
Yeah.
Or there's other third-party companies I use.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm protected and insured and the whole bit. So how this happened, I don't know. But now I got to fight to get my money back. And I'm sure I'll get it back. But it's like, God damn it.
Not cool at all. I'm so sorry. Look at this. I'll send you something today so that you have some cash on hand.
Thank you.
All right. Our PayPal issues are resolved with finality, so I'll be able to send you something.
Okay, good.
But don't worry, I got you. Okay. I got you. You won't be without funds, because that's just not cool.
No, and I mean, I'm on my way to Kingston this weekend too. We're tentatively going to do a pubcast on Saturday?
Yeah, tentatively. I'm waiting to. I've written to them, and I'm waiting to hear a response from the Kingston Brewing Company Limited to see if we can use their space.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So yeah, everybody, the kids on the chat are saying, "Don't worry, it will be resolved. You will get your money back. You won't have to fight that hard. It's just going to involve a little bureaucracy, but it might take 15 to 30 days or something." But
well, it's going to take 2 weeks before I get a new card. Like,
what?
Yeah, that's what they said last night. Like I was doing the dishes.
But there's an emergency. There should be an emergency stuff, because when
I can get a
my
virtual
credit
number
card has
right
been
away.
Has been screwed a couple of times, and normally it's like a week or something. But they say, if it's really, really, really urgent, they could send it directly to your branch in about 2 or 3 days if you're willing to go there and pick it up.
At the closure of this episode, which has got to end soon, because I got a meeting at 9. When that meeting is over, I am going to get on the phone with them immediately and see how we can resolve this as quickly as possible, because I just don't need another thing like this.
But I will send you something so that you're not stuck in the meantime.
No, thank you. Oh, and by the way, it's my Visa debit. I don't have a Visa credit card. I have one credit card. It's a MasterCard. I've had it for 15 years. It's a Visa debit card, so it's linked directly to my checking account.
Ooh, so maybe I shouldn't. Has it been all canceled?
The card is canceled, but if you send me money, I can transfer it into another account that I have. I have a cash account via Wealthsimple, so if you send it to me, I can transfer it to that, and I can get money immediately.
Okay. You know what? I'm going to do that directly, immediately after the show.
Okay.
Not going through PayPal. I'll do it from my personal account, and then I'll replenish my personal account from the PayPal.
Thank you.
Because that's not cool, and you don't need to struggle more.
No, I've got enough.
I got you.
Right now. Thanks.
I got you. So yeah, it's like, if I can make it such that you don't need to have any extra worry, I'm happy to do that.
Appreciate that.
All right, kids and cubs. Interesting way to end the show.
Yeah, sorry. Just when you get the
No, do not apologize. That's a shitty thing to happen.
Yeah.
Again, right? There are shitty people.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. The people, and then there are people also. When we showed you images of those bot farms a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Grizzly, I remember you saying, it's like, I don't blame the people that work there. They got to earn a living, but
yeah,
the people who set those things up, shitty people.
Them. Yeah.
Shitty people. All right. So but don't let the fact that there are shitty people. Change who you are. Yes. Be smarter, be wiser, be more cautious of that type of stuff, but don't let it jade you or, turn you negative. I mean, there always have been shitty people and scammers,
Oh, yeah.
right? So, but it sucks. It sucks because most of us are just trying to do our best, get by, be good people, and leave the place a little better than we found it. And then we got some people that insist on not rowing in the same direction as the rest of the team.
This is sage advice from Angela. Be super careful with free Wi-Fi. I don't use free Wi-Fi. I have unlimited on my phone. So if I'm in the event of where I'm in a location, I need to open up my laptop and do some work, I just hotspot to my phone because the only free Wi-Fi I use is at the pub because I know it.
Mm-hmm.
I know the owner. I know it's safe. I know who installed it. I know what equipment they're using. I know it's okay. But yeah, you're right. You walk into a place, hey, for our free Wi-Fi. Nope. It's always a risk.
Indeed. All right, kids and cubs, that's the end of this episode of the Daily Beaver Morning Show here on the Crier Media Network. We hope that you love listening to us because we loved making this for you. Remember that sharing is caring and word of mouth is priceless. You have the mouths from which we want the words to come, so please tell your peeps and poops all about us. And if you would like to help us, or by, for example, not missing an episode, you don't have to thanks to the Ray Girl. If you scan that QR code that has just appeared on the screen, that will bring you to our pod page. That's podpage.com/The True North Eager Beaver, lowercase letters with a hyphen between each one of those words. And when you click on subscribe, when we have something fresh off the bandwidth, it comes directly to you. Now, if you would like to support us in other ways, then you need to make like Kit Elaine and surf yourself on down to the True North Eager Beaver Media Incorporated YouTube page. And there we have 3 buttons for you to lick, click, and flick. Like, share, and subscribe. There's Kit Elaine there telling us to remember to smash the button before you leave. Thank you so much, dear one. We always appreciate that from you. So go click those, and that makes us very happy. If you would like to help us in other ways, the QR code by Mr. Grizzly's Head will bring you to our coffee page. That's coffee, ko-fi.com/eagerbeaver, lowercase letters, all in one word. And so that's the place you go, that if you like what we do and would like to encourage us, support us, tell us that you would like us to do more. If you leave a little donation there, doesn't matter how little, we appreciate every donation. That helps us operate the show and cover our fees, and we are very, very grateful for anything that you can contribute to there.
And
Seems like you want to say something, sir.
You can do it through the coffee account, or you could even transfer funds via the True North Eager Beaver Gmail account, and you can, Mr. Beaver can move the funds around accordingly.
Yes. So yes, because there are fees for things. So if you want us to get 100%, whatever it is that you want to donate, just send us a money transfer to truenortheagerbeaver@gmail.com, and we will be able to deposit. But if you appreciate the convenience of coffee, the fees are very, very, very minimal for us.
Yes.
And so we get an overwhelming amount, way over 90% of what it is that you donate there. And then donations through Super Chat and whatnot come with a 30% fee.
Yes.
That goes to YouTube. So that's the least effective way, but it's the most convenient way, especially if you're watching on YouTube, because you're already there and you don't have to go anywhere else. So there are various options, but if you are conscious about your dollar and you want to go more of it to go to us than to a service, a direct email transfer is the absolute best way. That's 100%. Then PayPal, way over 90%, and then YouTube, which is 70%. All right. Just so you can make an informed choice as a consumer as to where your money goes.
Indeed.
We're not telling you to pick one way or another. That's your choice. All right. Just like we don't tell you for whom to vote, but we might tell you whom not to vote for. Because democracy is something that you do. By-elections coming up in Elmwood, Transcona, in La Salle, Villemar, Verdun. So please plan your vote and bring someone with you. Of course, we have some by-elections come up in Ward 15 in Toronto. The nominations close on September 19th there. So if you're looking to throw your hat in the ring, please, you have a limited amount of time now, but it's not too late. And let's see. I think that'll probably be it for me today. Mr. Grizzly, do you have some words of wisdom? Yeah, it's tough now. I know.
I
Had I
try not
asked you that
try not to
15
let
minutes,
yeah, I know.
had
Try
I
not
asked you
to
that 15 minutes ago, it would have been easier.
try not to let the things that get you down too much. That's all I really got for today.
Yes. And I will add one. When something happens, talk to your friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good friends are willing to help.
This is true.
All right. Mr. Grizzly, please cue the cock. You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver Media Incorporated podcast. The True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Misfit Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters, CanadianTarot.com, their uniquely Canadian online eclectic tarot community, and the Peppermaster, hot pepper sauces made from farm-fresh ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind. We are grateful to the Crier Media Network for its support, Pete Jarvis for our artwork, and Paul Joseph Something for our opening and closing sequence music. All right, a couple little notes. We have some news from Kit's. Kit Swanky Frankie, I believe, had a job interview or has one coming up. So if it's already passed, I hope it went well. I'm sure you were fantastic. If it is to come, don't worry, my friend. You'll be great. I just know it. Happy birthday to Kit Linda's husband, Mr. Linda. I believe celebrated her birthday yesterday. So we hope that everything went well. Kit Linda mentioned that she was going to make an apple something on that day. So I hope that the celebrations were wonderful. And we asked about some Dam Fam pets, and Kit PNC Bio sent us some photos. He sent us 4. I will show one today for you because I know that Mr. Grizzly has to go, but I will show the others. This is Kits and Cubs, Monty. So please say hello to Monty. Yesterday we saw Milo, and ooh,
Maine
that's
Coon?
a handsome fella.
Is he a Maine Coon?
I do not know breeds of cats, but
It looks like a Maine Coon.
there's a
I
show
could be wrong.
There's a show that I listen to called The Daily Beans. They say that looks like a man cat face.
Yeah, Maine Coons tend to have a human-like look to them almost.
Mm-hmm. Gee, those eyes.
Yeah.
All right, Kits and Cubs. Mwah. Have a terrific day.
I'll see you.